All right, welcome to the Rocket Launcher podcast. This is episode 119. I am your host, Supreme King, and join with me as always is my co-host, and his name is.
It's your guy Omezis.
So real quick, because we kind of do this a lot of times. Quick thoughts on our first technical snow day. I think it counts.
I hate
You
it.
hate it?
I hate it. I walk outside, it's just snowing and wet, and I wasn't ready for it.
You
I
wasn't
wasn't
ready,
mentally
man.
prepared.
It was. I saw like a report, like I want to say, the night before, where somebody was like it was gonna snow, and I think I also saw somebody else post like they can't wait for it and stuff. And I was like, really, it's gonna snow? And
So without going into like too much detail on everybody, but my
yeah.
commute to work is longer now because I moved. So now it's a pain. Now I gotta
Oh
like
yeah.
plan. I gotta plan for it and everything. Start the car early and gotta get ready to start scraping stuff, and that's gonna be annoying.
Yeah, I've had so much experience with like winter related issues with cars and stuff that I'm very much prepared. And one of the main things I usually do is I don't hit the freeway during the winter, so I'm actually about to stop altogether before it even really starts. And I'll be back on the freeway probably afterwards, and I'll take the longer commute and longer days out and about. Cause I ain't having no accidents ever again. I ain't letting that happen. It had to be a really far stretch for that to happen, but yeah, I'm very much prepared for it now. I do not allow myself to just like be open and exposed to that much risk anymore. But yeah, we had a tiny rainy-ish snow day. I heard on the other side, on the other coast, some of them are actually getting real snow. So I guess that's coming our way eventually.
I'm watching a
But
football game right now and it's snowing.
on the field,
Yep. It's the
uh,
Steelers versus the Browns. So I think they're in Pittsburgh. And yeah, it's
okay.
snowing.
Well, also, why don't you tell us about the game that you started? We've talked about it here and there. I know it's
Eh,
been a controversial thing here and there, and I know I've had my words to say. But you bought it full price. You're playing it now.
sure did.
What
I
is the
beat
game?
Dragon Age Inquisition.
I thought you were about to say
Trespasser
you beat
finally.
the Veilguard. I was like,
Oh
hey, you
no
didn't
no
tell me
no
you
no
beat it. I was like, all
no no!
right,
I beat Trespasser. So then I went
okay,
ahead and I was like, let's go, and I bought Veilguard. And I can tell
okay.
you, uh, one, it is not as bad as everyone's saying. It's one of those things where if you keep isolating the cringe stuff, the whole thing feels like it's cringe.
Mhm.
But as I play through it, I haven't caught anything cringe yet. Uh, like it's been fine. For it. Now,
Okay.
where there's an issue, I can see where Dragon Age fans wouldn't like it. Uh, because I guess best way I could put it is Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age Inquisition felt like it was on Max, right? Like it's HBO and Showtime. It's one of those. And then Dragon Age: The Veilguard feels like it's like PG-13 Netflix. So that's
Mm.
one issue where like everything feels a lot more cartoony. Everybody's personality is like a lot more kind of upbeat. Uh, and it's almost like they're trying to make everyone likable versus
Okay.
making characters and then people just find them likable. Like that's been like all the other games. Like there was the one dude who's the Grey Warden in Inquisition, who like is part of your group, and this dude was always just beating himself up about stuff, and then you just happened to like him. Like they had a personality, and it was fine. Versus like, how do we make a personality people like? That's what this game kind of has.
Okay.
So that's kind of an issue. The other issue is for the RPG people. You don't really get to play the full range of emotions that you would want to play. Where, I remember like Inquisition, you could be the like, hey guys, we could do this, and we're the hero, and like type of guy. I was very much the like charming talk person, and then like, I look for the good in everybody. So like as a judge and everything, it was like this person wronged these people. What's his sentencing and everything? So I was like, like I was very nice to a lot of people. Um, and you could be mean, right? You could be harsh if you want to. You could really be a villain if you want.
Mm-hmm.
But for Veilguard, it's like you can be Captain America, stoic, heroic. You could be Peter Parker, like kind of comedy, childish, heroic, or you can be Iron Man, sarcastic or heroic, and those are your only options now. So where it'll be like something was like if there's some device and you're like, don't touch that. In other games, it'll be like, don't touch that, or hey, can you please not touch that, or go near it again and I'll hurt you, or you can just attack the person, right? Like those would be like options. Where now it's you can either be like Captain America and be like, hey, don't touch that. Peter Parker, hey, I wouldn't touch that if I was you. Like, let's be careful. Or you're like Iron Man, hey, touch it if you want. Well, I'll just die. Ha ha ha. Like that's how it feels like they were trying to go almost like a Marvel movie route with it. Uh, some of their missions is a little bit weird. Where like we had to go find somebody. They were like, go explore this area to
Mm-hmm.
find her, and we literally just you walk down the hill, and before like finishing your conversation, you run into her.
Oh.
Like so, it was like okay, you could have just not like you could have made that a whole cutscene. Like why'd you make me walk down the hill? Like because you can't go left or right. Like you had to go down the hill. It was the only option, and you just run into her. And it was like a really short walk. So that was weird. Um, but where I'm enjoying it is my typical playthrough for a lot of RPGs is I try to do the charming, like talk his way in and out of situations, help everybody route, and the game kind of forces you to do that. So in terms of my play style, it's exactly how I play, and the combat for me is pretty fun. As the mage, you're not just in the background blasting, like you can actually get all close combat fighting with it and switch back and forth sort of seamlessly. So that part's really fun, and I'm enjoying that. But I don't know if it's going to be like a second playthrough type of game because it doesn't
Okay.
really. Like as of now, I guess maybe I haven't really seen the consequences of like certain choices. Uh, but it doesn't feel like it's going to play that differently.
So is this game still like 100 gig download? Was it still
Yes.
like that much? So
Yeah, it was a
anybody out
lot.
here, they still need to make some space for it. And you play this
Yes.
on, or you're playing on PS5 or PC?
Correct.
PS5.
PS5.
So you bought the physical version.
Yes.
Does it have a reversible cover?
I don't think so. I think it was just a regular cover.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, hopefully Makos will get us some footage going forward. I do
Yeah.
apologize to the people I have not really been preparing as good as I normally do for the footage. I just kind of throw some stuff together. It just so happened to be so many games that I have already like beaten and archived that I could pull footage from. Like the footage on screen is this is Evil West. I don't know where it is in the game, but it's somewhere in the middle of it, Evil West. And so we'll get
Oh,
some of that footage. I
yeah.
actually have all your footage downloaded, and you
Oh,
could put up new stuff if you need to.
I can put up some Dragon Age footage then.
Okay. I still gotta grab a bunch of the Lords of the Fallen stuff from off the
Uh,
system as well,
I
and
got some of that.
a couple other stuff too that I gotta grab. And other than that, I still have like 60 plus gigs of pure God of War Ragnarok footage that has not been shown. And this is a
Cause
game.
you ain't wanna show spoilers.
Yeah, I've beat the game back in 2022 when it first came out, and I still have the footage that I could pull footage for at any moment. I didn't do it this time because the footage that I saw the next episode worth of stuff is like 30 minutes, and I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna pull that because I already have enough 30-minute clips on here. But anyways, we could move forward to probably the biggest topic of this week, which is one we've kind of been alluding to and waiting for a while, but we didn't check in as much as we did the year before, where we were talking about who's going to be in the Game of the Year category, who's going to make it, who might get snubbed. The main thing that I was saying before was I was thinking Black Myth Wukong was not going to get mentioned at all. And I was almost threatening
Did.
to never watch the show ever again
There
if that
was a
was the
lot of people.
case.
Apparently, a
But
lot of people felt the same way.
it did get mentioned. And not only did it get mentioned, it actually got put in the Game of the Year category, which I really was surprised a little bit that they went there, but I'm glad that they did. However, the main category, which is the Game of the Year category, there was some rules that was changed recently, and it just so happened to favor one particular game that people feel is not necessarily a game, but just simply a DLC. And when we were talking at one point, like years ago, for certain games, I remember people would get triggered, fanboys would get triggered whenever you call a certain game DLC. We've heard it a few times with things like Spider-Man Miles Morales was one of them for sure. And you talk about rattling up some feathers when people was really calling Ragnarok DLC as well as Tears of the Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
Some super hardcore fans in both games there, right? And so going there was kind of crazy, but now we actually have a game that is literally DLC to a game that actually did win Game of the Year, and it beat God of War Ragnarok and a few other games. That was Elden Ring, and so now the Erdtree DLC, that super hard DLC that had everybody contemplating life, um, earlier in the summertime. This thing is in the Game of the Year category, the main category. And then there's another game there that I really, I think some people could quite literally be like, "What? Who is this? What is this?" But they threw a card game out there that's actually on mobile as well, and so we're gonna talk about all of that. First, can you just tell everybody who were the final six, and then we'll get into the
The
topic.
final six are the true winner, Astrobot.
The true winner. You think so?
No, of course not. But I'll fight for that one. That's gonna be my vote. Like how I was doing Stray the previous year, it's gonna be Astrobot this time. So Astrobot, Balatro. Is that how you say that?
I think
Balatro?
so.
Bal-
Bilateral, and that's
Balatro.
the one where, for me,
Roguelike.
I will be honest, I didn't know this game at all until
I didn't
now.
either. It's like a roguelike poker
Hmm.
game. It's like a
Yeah.
deck builder poker game.
Yes.
Uh, Black Myth Wukong,
Yes.
Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final
Hmm.
Fantasy VII Rebirth, and probably the winner, Metaphor ReFantasia.
Yeah. Final Fantasy was the one where it has a strong fan base, but I heard the sales wasn't as good at first. But people were saying the game was good. And then this card game came out of nowhere. I'm thinking for a lot of people, but for the people who played it, they were saying it's highly addictive and it's hard for them to put down. For the people who did play it, I honestly think if we're gonna keep it real, um, I think this is the one game, the card game, where I don't think anybody predicted at all. I don't think anybody thought it was gonna be there. Let's be real. A lot of people didn't even
No,
know it exists. I honestly feel like it's crazy that it beats certain games like the Dragon Ball Sparking
yeah,
Zero, because that one was another one that made a lot of sales. But then I remember seeing all these reports about how a lot of its fan base was dropping off. I'm surprised they didn't just give the honors to Silent Hill.
mm,
And so it was a few of them too, because we got to go really early back, because this game came out around that same time. Helldivers came out and Power World came out, and we're
and
not even given.
Helldivers ain't even up there.
Yeah,
How
we
low?
didn't.
Like
It's
I,
interesting.
I definitely expected Helldivers two to be up there. That was the one I
I would
expected
be.
to
I
get.
would have probably said that one would have been here before this. I'm gonna be honest, before the card game.
Yeah, and like that's the one I would have expected. Like I expected Helldivers two over this game.
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing just to see. This game I actually did um add to my Black Friday thing that I'm going to do later on because it's in the game of the year category, and if anybody really wants to check it out, it is $20. It's 19.99. I'll talk about it later with a bunch of other sales. But I think that's the only game out of all these games that's like actually on sale and cheap right now where you can really get in there and just play it. It might be something that people might really latch onto. Because the only thing I'm hearing is the people who did play it, which is it seems to be like the PC choice. Um, it is very addictive. People just can't stop playing it.
Hey, okay.
So whoever it is, but I honestly think I think this year, even though it is controversial, I think it's a very high chance that Elden Ring's Erdtree thing, the DLC might actually win, only because it seems
That's
like
good to
the
see.
show is being changed for it. Because it's like we changed the rules for this one game. It just seems like we did. Because there's everything else is valid. This is the only thing that was not really valid, right? Until now. Um, Now technically they've gone there before with the remakes. Resident Evil 4 remake was there last year, right?
Yep.
And people was like, does that count? Blah 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 blah. I think does the remake to you does that count more than the DLC? Or are they on the same playing field to you? What do you think?
Uh, I think only slightly above it, but I think a remake counts more. Like I feel like, can you play Erd Tree without buying a like base game Elden Ring?
No.
Then I don't feel like it should be considered a game.
Not only that, there are certain things in Elden Ring that you have to beat. Um, you have to beat in game without, or else you will not even get access
See,
to it.
that's it. You can play Miles Morales, like even though people considered it like they tried to call it a DLC, you can
Mm-hmm.
play Miles Morales without playing Spider Man. That means it's its own game.
Right.
It is its own thing. At that point, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep is more of a game than this because you can just
Yeah.
buy that and
Um.
play that solely. That's what I don't like. I feel like it's not fair to start throwing because if you start saying DLC can get all of the like credit, then that means to me a lot of companies are going to refocus on trying to release DLC. Uh, or like it'll argue more for releasing incomplete games because now they can get mentioned twice. Like this is a publicity thing, right? And it's like your game won or like got mentioned, and then like a year or two later, all of a sudden it's back in the talks for publicity's sake just because you released a DLC for it. I don't think that's cool. I think there should be a new category. And I was thinking about this, and I think this category should be something like almost like the legacy of the game category, where remakes go here,
Mhm.
DLC goes here, and sequels that can still be considered game of the year can also go here. So it's like the idea of this category should be like it's taking off the legacy of a game that already exists and it's elevating it, right? So like
Mhm.
Ragnarok could have been game of the year category because it's its own game, but then also how well is it holding up the God of War story, which would also put it here. Whereas Resident Evil 4 remake only goes here because like in the legacy category because it's a remake of a game. It's not really doing its own thing and it's just redoing a game that was already successful. Right? So I feel like
Yeah.
there should be a separate category for these type of games where they can still get recognition, but like the recognition is like how well are you holding up or lifting the already established franchise, but
Well, I
you
think
should be
they have
considered
that though.
a game.
They have that category. It's
Where
called best ongoing game.
well, I treat ongoing games as like Helldivers, something that's online,
Mhm.
ongoing, not like start and stop. Like I feel like I don't consider like Resident Evil 4 remake an ongoing version of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
right? That's what I mean. It's like I want
I
a
can see
separate
that. It's I don't know how many more
category.
categories we can add though too, because everybody feels like the family friendly category is the Nintendo cop out category.
Yeah, I
You
feel like we
know,
could drop some of these.
but
Um,
I do think they probably should have a DLC category in its own right, and whatever DLC just came out in the year is the DLC of the year. Um, Elden Ring's DLC definitely would have won that if that was the case.
yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from Elden Ring and the actual DLC itself. As far as like what you get and stuff, I think it made its mark. I remember so many people was like they couldn't even get through the base game, right? And then they were coming back to this, and I remember so many streamers and everybody was mad because it was exposing everybody. Nobody's really that good. Nobody has the skill, all that stuff. So this game really does still, make its mark and everything. And it was like intentionally harder in the beginning and everything. So if anybody's into that, that's like the Souls game right now. There's so many like copycats and Souls likes, but that's
Yeah.
the Souls game right now. So it's definitely a DLC that you would want to
So
get, but
when
um
we talk about too many categories, I don't think we need a best independent game and a best debut indie game. If you're the
yeah,
best debut indie game, then you're the best indie game. Like you should just be in the indie game category. If you're the best indie game, done. Uh, so
I
drop
think we could
one of
mention
those.
real quick, isn't there one whole category that has the exact same nominees?
Uh,
It's one of them in there that's exactly the same. Like they might as well do them at the same time because it's not even gonna
well,
make sense if
the
one of
game
them
of the
win. And
year and best game direction are the exact same.
yeah, so it's like there's no way you could have one of them win and then it don't win game of the year, right? Like
Yeah.
they might actually do something like that and it would look so goofy, but they might as
Uh,
well put them at the same time. It's like best game direction and game of the year goes too. This is
yeah.
like But as far as this final six, and we can move on to some of the other ones, I do think Metaphor Refantasio probably is the one to go with because people looked at it at the beginning and said it's another game to hold you over until you get the next persona in line. However, once it came out, that's when people were saying it's actually better. They actually
Yep.
worked on it, and they were blown away by how much actually is
Yeah.
better.
Once I heard people were spending like 40 hours in the uh
Yeah,
uh demo, it was like, all
right.
right.
Because the demo is actually bigger than some games, right? It's like you could
Yep.
play the demo for this for free, and you'll be playing this longer than you would play some of the other games that were probably mentioned throughout this night or will be mentioned throughout that night. And then turn back around and get the game and just put in so many more hours, and you're getting so much value out of this one title for anybody who's really into the turn-based RPGs, action RPGs. So I think that one might win. If it's not that, it might be honestly the Elden Ring DLC, which I think they might actually avoid for PR reasons. They might be like, I don't know.
Shouldn't even be there.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
again, like to me, you can't call yourself a game if you require another game to be played. Then you're just part of that game, right? Like it's not Elden
Hmm.
Ring Shadow of the Earth Tree. It's just Elden Ring getting nominated again. It was like Elden Ring, and now Elden Ring with a little more, right? It's not. It's not its own thing. I feel like to be in this category, it should be its own disc. It should not require any like thing else in order to play it. It should be its own thing, and then you can consider it its own game.
Quite literally, though, you have to beat like there's certain big bosses in the base game you got to beat, or you wouldn't even touch it. Like some
See,
people really actually, because I think this thing was $40. I didn't get it yet, but I am gonna get it. It was $40 in itself, so it's a pretty pricey one. Because DLC $40 for DLC is usually on the pricier end, but only a title like this could get away with it. And you know, people, really it came back and made a big impact. I had already said it already, but yeah, I can agree with you. If you need to have a whole nother game to play it, it kind of just seems a little odd because it can win Game of the Year and somebody can just be a scrub and they'll literally never even be able to touch it ever. Right? That's like it's a possibility, and there is no easy mode. Right? There's none of that. Um, but yeah, I think the likely fan choice, the second one might actually be either Black Myth or Astro. Um, I would probably want Astro to win, not Astro, Black Myth to win the most. Obviously, being biased, but I really think Metaphor might be the safest choice. There's no controversy around it. There's no like you can't really claim there's pandering. But if the Elden Ring one wins, that's gonna look like a Last of Us 2 situation in a way. It's gonna look like you really made it look like this was a bigger deal than what it probably should be in this category. Um, I think it definitely should be a DLC of the year, or that they don't have that at this at
That's
this.
why I feel like I said, legacy, like holding up the legacy like category.
It's weird to put it in best game direction too, because it's like, is it just you made it harder? Like that's the direction. Like you made it harder, I guess, or I don't know. But yeah, I do think as far as the show itself, they got to put both of these together at the same time. There's no way they can make one game win one game of the year category, and the other one wins the actual game of the year. And it's like each award has the exact same six people or six games. But I digress. Metaphor, I think, is the likely choice. What's your choice? What do you think is the likely choice?
Astrobot.
Astrobot,
Yep.
I
The
guess.
music is great. The platforming is great. The nostalgia is great. The whole thing was just enjoyable. I feel like it's almost impossible to play that game with a frown. Not every level is like super childish. It does ramp up its difficulty.
Hmm.
And out of the whole list, it's the only one I platinumed. Matter of fact, out of the whole list, it's the only one I played.
Well, I do think it's funny because I think I've said this a couple times when I think we've been doing this now officially 3 years, which is crazy. But um, I do always say, no matter what, you should always have all of the games that's in the game of the year category. You should always buy it and you should always have it on your backlog because that means at the very least they're really good games. This year it seems a little odd because it's like that would mean I got to go out here and buy this card game, and I had no intentions on doing that. But I'll say it again right before I say it at the Black Friday part. The card game is the one game out of this entire thing that is on sale for the cheapest amount. That's $20. You can get that right now for $20. Is it really that addictive? Is it so addictive that we can shoehorn it over a lot of games like the Dragon Ball Z game is at a time where Dragon Ball Z is hot again. It's got a whole nother show, and I'm pretty sure it has a much bigger player base than this. No disrespect to this. It jumped over Silent Hill. It jumped over Helldivers. It jumped over Power World. It'd be kind of weird if you was to put Power World in this category with all the stuff going on with it too. But before we get into the other awards, I do also want to mention real quick, Jeff Keighley, who is the host of this show, apparently is trying to um, copyright the term. I think it's the term copyright. But he's trying to do some Nintendo stuff. He wants to own the term the Game Awards. So nobody else can do a Game Awards where they call it the Game Awards. So yeah, he's trying to monopolize as much as he can.
I,
He's
I feel like you need an extra word for that. Like I feel like Game Awards is too generic, right? Like
yeah.
it's not like the Oscars, right? Like or like the Emmys. Like nothing else is gonna be called an Emmy
Let me
or an
correct
Oscar,
myself.
but
I
like
said the
a
wrong
game
term. I
award.
think it's trademark. That's the term. He's trying to
Okay,
trademark it, right?
but yeah, like
Yeah.
that's still same point. Like, if you're like the Oscars and then somebody else tries to do the independent Oscars, right? Like it's like no, don't use the word Oscars. Like, but I feel like game and award like are just too generic of a word
Yeah.
to try and trademark. It was almost like to me when the two guys tried to trademark React,
Yeah, I
or is
remember
it the
that
difference
too.
between React Bros, where like
Hmm.
now no one else is trying to call themselves that, versus saying we want to own the word React, where it's like you can't do that. It's too common of a word. It's too generic, and I feel like yeah, I don't know, because like you think about it, like the I don't know South Philly Game Awards or the California Game Awards, or like you throw a state in the front or a city in the front, and it's its own Game Awards. It's almost like trying to own Comic Con, right? Like or owning
Yeah.
the word con. It's like you can't do that. It's a convention. Like if they had an extra word with it, like I said, it might.
Or somebody come out of nowhere and say you can't say wrestling, and it's
Right.
like it's all these different shows.
Yeah.
You
Like
can't
yeah, they're
say
just
it.
like World Wrestling Entertainment. We own the word wrestling, so now you have to call it like combats now. Like it's just that's weird.
Yeah. So imagine if somebody out of nowhere says we copyrighted or trademarked the word burger. Nobody else can call their thing a burger. You got to call it a
Right.
sandwich or something.
Right.
That
Or
would
if
be
they're
so
like
dumb.
yeah, or if you want to get specific, like when you're like it's the double bacon cheeseburger. It's like because of that we own it. It's like
Yeah. So similar to I guess the Pokemon kind of thing. I guess he's trying to monopolize a certain thing here. He wants to be the gaming awards, the game awards. There's other game awards out there that don't get as much recognition, but he's trying to make sure that all right, we got the E3 out of here. There'll never be something else again, basically. So I just say that just to probably give people an idea of what we're dealing with this year with the Game Awards. But I should have mentioned this in the beginning of this, but I'll mention it right now, and then we'll move to the next categories. The Game Awards will be on December 12th, Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can watch it pretty much on YouTube, all obviously, but maybe also with your favorite streamer. I'm pretty sure a lot of them are going to jump onto this, and you could just sit there and watch maybe your favorite YouTuber, whoever's live. I should have mentioned this to you off air, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think that day we probably shouldn't record right then and there. We might pick it up that weekend. At probably our older time, like that early Saturday morning, and then our thoughts will go out to the public that Sunday morning. I think that might be a better idea, because by the time they're done that night, it will be like at the end of a WWE show or something, where it's be like 11 o'clock, and I don't think that's a good idea to pick up that early, because I gotta go to work the next day. You gotta go to work next day. I'm assuming. So
yeah. Yeah.
probably Saturday we'll just do that before we play a game.
Sounds
Cool
good.
thing about it is I think around that time, um, the Power Ranger game will be out. We'll probably jump to PC real quick
Yeah,
and play
buddy.
there. Because I also think my subscription on PlayStation runs out a few days before that. And I actually wanted to wait until a sale. That's another thing. Black Friday sales for anybody. Um, what I've been hearing is it's almost like some of the cable things. If you let it run out and wait, you're patient a week or two, they'll give you a tiny discount. And I'm kind of gonna wait for the discount before re it up again, just to see if they'll give me one. I don't know. PlayStation's been acting different lately. I might not get it because they're not giving me my controllers that I want, at
Mm.
least at a discount. But we'll see. We'll see. At least we have some stuff to play on there. We could play that. I don't think that's gonna be that long, but then we could probably jump to Left 4 Dead 1 or 2 real quick. One and then two. Um, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, The Game Awards again, December 12th, Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, you can watch it online. What are some of the other categories? What are other categories that we care about? I think we could skip. We might not even need to talk about the esports. The what is it? YouTuber of the year.
Yeah, I don't care about none of this.
We could probably skip all of those, but I know they got one of them that's like best action and stuff. Just go down the list. Let's just see what we got.
All right, so we got game of the year,
Hmm.
game direction,
Right.
best narrative.
Okay.
So that one's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth,
Okay.
Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth,
Okay. New game.
Metaphor Fantasio,
All right.
Senua Saga Hellblade 2, and
Interesting.
Silent Hill
Interesting.
2.
So Silent 2 shows up. Okay. Like a Dragon has showed up. Hellblade. That's one I thought people might forget about. Hellblade is here.
Yeah.
Okay. Um.
Best score and music. I've been getting more
Okay.
into that, like just hearing the music as you play. Uh, and we got the one I think should win, Astrobot.
Hmm.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor Fantasio, Silent Hill 2, and Stellar Blade.
It's funny, I gotta like ask is Elden Ring DLC mentioned anywhere else in this?
Elden Ring's DLC is best game direction,
Right.
best art direction.
Okay, so it does show up a couple other places there. I was just wondering, did they change the rule and just only put it in the main one and not all of them? So okay.
That
Um,
might be it. Oh,
best music, that's
best
cool.
RPG
Best RPG.
there too. Yeah. But still
Okay.
going through. So with this, I don't know. Do you care about best performance?
When you say best performance, is it the
Like the
actors?
actor? Yeah.
Honestly, like I know some of them, like the God of War one, was like more popular because of who he was, I guess. But
So
I don't know everybody like that. But yeah.
it's Hannah Tell from Life is Strange Double Exposure,
Okay.
Brianna White from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Humberly Gonzalez from Star Wars Outlaws, Luke Roberts from Silent Hill 2, and Melina Jurgens from Senua Saga Hellblade 2. I feel like I gotta go to Melina, right?
Yeah,
Like
but I
how
was gonna.
dramatic she.
Yeah, I think because that takes a lot of effort. But you know what's starting to sound? It sounds like Final Fantasy VII is in a lot more categories than everybody else.
Yes.
So I think Final Fantasy VII is definitely going to take a lot of the little awards. I don't think they're going to give it the big one though.
Yeah.
But it's definitely there. You know what's so funny? This is the MVP game for PlayStation 2 because everybody kept saying this was the game that actually you can actually tell the graphical changes and performance changes on the PS5 Pro. And it's like with everything else, you got to really scrutinize it. But this one is like you could just sit back and play it and you can actually tell. And
Yeah.
so, and it's quite
Uh,
literally the only one, though. It's like, ain't nobody really saying that about all the other ones. But yeah.
best ongoing game:
Yeah.
Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 15, 14. What was that?
14, probably.
14.
14.
Fortnite, and Helldivers 2.
Interesting. Helldivers
You?
was holding on by a thread, actually. I don't know how that
Yeah.
made it. I'm
Uh,
surprised you didn't mention Fortnite. I'm surprised Fortnite has
I did.
been. Oh, you
Yeah.
did? I was about to
Yep.
say,
It
like,
was ready for Helldivers.
okay. Okay. I got
And then
selective
for
here.
best community support,
Hmm.
Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky.
Maybe it could go to No Man's Sky. That one is like,
I
how is that
believe
still there?
I
Like,
believe they just released an update that like super revamped everything. Like it gave like a lot more like luscious features on the worlds and made exploring a lot more fun and all this other stuff. So
yeah, that's a really big ongoing game. That's like a
yeah,
we could have probably easily dropped it when it was really early on, but chose not to. It's like
well,
every other developer should be like though, honestly. from what we've been hearing and seeing for all these crazy layoffs and stuff. It's like,
Right.
yeah.
So I'll say the category, and you let me know if you want me to say the games, because I don't want to drag this on for too long.
Okay.
The
Go
best
ahead.
independent game:
Now that one I care about a little bit. What
All
we
right,
got here? What we got here?
Animal Well, Balatro,
Okay.
Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Neva, and UFO 50.
Interesting. Now, I think I actually think they're gonna give it to the card game. I think this makes the most sense. Because if you got a card game that makes it into the game of the year category, then just by logically speaking, it has to win in the best independent, then, right? Because no other independent game, like, how does an independent game
Good.
like beat it, right? And then it's
Yeah,
like, if it beat it, then it would have been in that spot.
it's a great game, but it ain't the best indie. Then it's like,
Yeah, it's like, what? So I kind of feel like that one should win.
because I do feel like
Um,
some of the other ones you could argue were like, no, this game had the best music. This game had the best like art direction. But this game, even though it wasn't the best one, when you
hmm
combine all the categories, it's now the best one. Uh,
yeah,
where it looks silly for that other year where it was like God of War won all the mini categories for Elden Ring to win the big one. It was like, well, if God
yeah.
of War is
That
that good,
logic didn't make sense because it was like, if
yeah,
you won it in all these categories, then you should have won the big one. But
exactly.
they were trying to be more like everybody gets a
Eh,
trophy kind of thing, and that's how you know, like, the biasness is there a little bit. It's like
yeah,
it makes it almost not real, right?
yep.
But yeah. So
Best debut indie game:
okay.
Balatro, Animal Wells, Manor Lords, Pacific Drive, which I think might win, or The
Hmm.
Plucky Squire.
So that's another one too. Is like any category, I feel like they has to win by default. But um, the
Uh, I
Pacific
don't know.
Drive might win too,
Um,
though. I can see
I'll
that
like
too.
where I'll argue. I guess the slight difference between debut indie and indie
Yeah.
would be if Balatro didn't grab everyone's attention right away for
Uh
whatever
huh.
reason, but it grew on people versus like the game that just blew up on the day of release.
Hmm.
Do you care about best mobile game?
No.
All right, VR.
It's a shame. Like, I probably should, but it's really not uh a game. It's I just don't have the system. But I guess I could be funny and biased and just root for the Batman game. But I don't know. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead. What is it?
Oh, Arizona Sunshine remake,
Hmm.
Asgard's Wrath 2, Batman Arkham Shadow, Metal Hellsinger VR, or Metro Awakening.
That's interesting. They put Asgard's Wrath 2 in VR. But um yeah, I think I don't know how many more you got, but I think for the people, the best thing for you to do is sit down one day and pull out that full list and just cut and paste each one into YouTube and just look at all the trailers and determine which ones you want to get. And grab everything next Black Friday if you don't already have some of it or want to buy it this year. But go ahead. Was there any other ones?
Well, we got Best Action Game,
Okay.
Black Myth, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which I think should probably get it with how much it was praised.
Okay.
Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, or Warhammer 40K.
Y-
Space Marine 2.
yeah, it might end up being Call of Duty. Warhammer has
Yeah.
a strong thing, but I don't think it's gonna be Call of Duty. I
Um,
do think, isn't one of those categories too most anticipated game. I mean, it's
yes,
obvious which one is gonna be, but go ahead if you wanted to mention it.
the most anticipated. Where'd they go? Death Stranding 2 on the
Mm-hmm.
beach, Ghost of Yote, Grand Theft Auto 6,
Mm-hmm.
Metroid Prime 4, and Beyond, and Monster Hunter Wilds.
I mean, it's obvious, right? So do we even need to
Grand
just
Theft
just
Auto
go ahead
6.
and just go ahead and keep going?
Uh, I am
it,
surprised. So,
it's
uh,
obvious. Yeah.
there was this other one. Hold on. It was best. Oh, action adventure game.
Yeah.
Astrobot, which I didn't expect it that much as an action game, but I guess. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Like this felt like the most random selection
Yeah,
category.
we finally gave Nintendo a category. It's funny because I think a lot of people thought Nintendo was just going to get a cop out category in Game of the Year with the Zelda game. But I think a lot of people also still agreed that it would have been there just to put Nintendo there, and maybe that was not enough this
Yeah.
time. But even in this
Uh,
category, I think either Astro should win or Silent Hill. I don't think it should go to the new Zelda game, to be honest.
for fighting game, Grand
Mm-hmm.
Blue Fantasy versus Rising, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, a game I don't think should be here, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. Another game that shouldn't be here, Multiverses,
Oh man, that's
and Tekken
yeah.
8.
Multiverses is old too, ain't it? It didn't come out
Yeah,
this year.
so it got nominated when it was in its beta, and
Yeah,
then they took it down and brought it back this year, and it's considered now it's an official release.
yeah, no.
And it's like,
Give it to
nah, you can
Spark and
do it.
Zero. Spark and Zero. I feel like a lot of people feel like it was robbed already.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
Do you
give them
think
this one.
Tekken 8 might give it a run for its money though?
Yeah, Tekken 8 might be the one that officially wins. I can see it, but
Yeah.
Spark and Zero should be a strong second. Uh, um, we don't know who's second there anyway, but
Yeah.
um,
Oh, there's two more. I think two more
go ahead.
categories I wanted to bring up. There's two more. Funny enough, this is the Nintendo category: Best Family Game. Princess
Mm,
Peach Showtime,
yeah.
Astrobot, Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, or The Plucky Squire.
It got to be Astrobot just to stick it to Nintendo.
I really wanted to be Astrobot.
It's got
Just
to
stick
stick it
to
to the
Nintendo.
Nintendo. Nintendo just got to lose in a category this year, just for the fun of you, just for the fun of it.
Or I don't even mind if it's The Plucky Squire. Like I was that game looked a little cute, interesting. You
Yeah,
like a storybook, and you're like the character in the storybook, but like it gotta be right. Like it has to be. It's not the
it's also still the logic. It's just following the logic. Anybody who's in the Game of the Year category, if it's in any other category, another other Game of the Year categories
oh
are
yeah,
there.
true.
They kind of just have
And
to win.
if it's
It
not
just
the best family game, why would it be here?
right. Why wouldn't? Because it's like it would have replaced it in all the other categories. So
Yeah.
just like the indie game, I'm kind of feeling the same way. But at the same time, it's just funny because it would be Nintendo.
Oh, and
Um,
sorry, I lied. There was two more categories. This
go
one's
ahead.
quick. Best sports and racing game:
Eh,
F1 24, EA
yeah.
Sports Football Club 25, NBA 2K25, Top Spin 2K25, and WWE 2K25. I don't know
How is the 24 and the 25s in
how
the
is
same
yeah,
ones?
it's like how is any of these like I don't know better? I feel like they're all too niche, right? Like the
Yeah, even in the
basketball playing
category, it's
fan.
just kind of thrown together, right? It's like they're not really. It's like, oh, they're sports, so we'll just put them in sports. But it's
Yeah,
like it's
I
not
don't
the
see
same
any
sport.
crossover. That's
Yeah,
like, yeah. Anyone who's playing NBA is not gonna be like, man, the wrestling game's better.
you're right.
Like I don't. But lastly, the one I wanted to bring up, best adaptation. So the ones where they turn it into a movie or a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So Arcane, which has now got its season two, I don't feel like it should be here because it already got nominated before, because of season one and one, I believe.
Okay.
Fallout, Knuckles, Like a Dragon Yakuza, which got a lot of complaints for some reason, and
Mm-hmm.
Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft, which got a lot of complaints for stupid reasons.
I think the Fallout series was the one that was praised, right? Initially.
That and I think some people like Knuckles. I thought it was okay. I thought it was
Yeah.
good. I don't
Yeah.
know if you the complaints for or for Tomb Raider, those were so dumb. I don't know if you saw the complaints for it.
I didn't.
She had some muscle.
Oh yeah. I do remember that.
That was really the complaint, and I was like,
Yeah, they were
and I
trying to
saw
say
it.
she looked more manly or whatever.
Yeah. So my thought when I saw it, my immediate thought process was just like, she raids tombs, right? Like if you're constantly
Yeah, I
rock
think I
climbing,
remember the arguments too from some of the people I was listening to.
like, and I get it in like a fantasy thing, you can make anybody look anything, but also
Hmm.
like if you're trying to go for a more realistic look, if you're constantly rock climbing and like ducking under stuff and having to swim a lot and all this, like you're gonna have some muscle on you.
Right.
That you can't be dainty and like you're gonna be thin because you got to squeeze through a bunch of stuff, and you're still gonna have some like muscle.
Yeah, you gotta have core muscles if you're doing all that stuff. So yeah, it makes sense. But you know how people is. They in the Stellar Blade category in the mindset. They just want to see a hot chick. They not trying to see nobody.
Right.
That fits the. The hottest chick is not gonna be going up and down mountains and stuff. It's not. It wouldn't even
Exactly.
make that much sense. But you know how it is. We already know what time it is.
Yeah, you right.
We know what time it is. So yeah.
That's
I
it.
think that's the Game Awards, but there were a couple other things I wanted to mention. So, if you haven't heard the rumors, you heard it here first. Apparently, this is also supposed to be the night of some big reveals, and one of the rumored reveals is a God of War trilogy to be remastered. I don't think it's a remake. I think it's a remaster coming to the PS5 of just the first three games all together. And
So almost like that 5 game collection on PS3.
yeah, but I think it's straight up just the three. I don't
Not
think it's
the
all of them.
PSP ones.
Yeah, I don't think they've ported that over. I could be wrong. Hopefully, I'm wrong. But I believe that's one of the big ones. I think this one might just be even more of a rumor, but we should see not Blade, but more Wolverine finally, but just a teaser. But just like they want to actually show something. You probably would have seen more from whatever that leak was, but I think that's supposed to be a teaser, and then just some other releases all throughout, like different companies and everything. The Resident Evil 9, there's so many leaks that has been circulating about that. I never really touched on it here that much because I just kind of wanted to wait for the real thing. I think everybody is pretty much sold on Resident Evil at this point. But I think you're supposed to officially see that as well. So we're gonna see some big releases. That's the main thing that everybody want to see. Is like you want to know who won some of the main awards. You pretty much gonna forget the other half, and you want to know who wins the big one. But outside of that, it's like this is the wish list award. We want to wish list some games that we want to see in the next couple years, right? So that's the big thing, and I guess we can move forward to my favorite section, which is the free game section. Everybody loves free, right? And so we done went almost a full hour on the Game Awards and some other stuff, and so I wanted to just go ahead and take the time that I always take to give credit to our unofficial sponsor, which is Epic Games, who gives away games for free every week, sometimes twice a week. There was a couple of times where it was three times in that week. And then we're getting actually very close to the time where they do their not Halloween, a holiday thing where it's like 17 games in a row every day, or is it 23 games or something leading up to Christmas, I think, or
There's
New
just a lot
Year's
of
or
games.
something. And even in the middle of that, yes, some of them are still going to be, lower quality, lower tier games that you've probably never heard of or care about. But they also always throw out at least one triple A game that you were supposed to care about at least at one point, if you still care about it or not. And so, at least for right now, you can get a game called Beholder, and Beholder is available today as of this recording until November 28th. And then the other game, I think this has a funny title. His name is Brotato. It's not potato, it's Brotato.
Hey,
And that's available from November 28th to December 5th. And so these are the two games right here. So if you don't have any Black Friday money or anything, you could at least get something. You could participate with something for free. And if you don't have the PC yet, you can at least claim this until you get your PC or a handheld. I always recommend the handheld for some of these other ones because they're more side scrolly, 2D games, and those games look better on a handheld anyway. But once you get it, log in, it's all there, right? I don't even know if I'm pushing close to 300 yet, but I've majority of the games I have not bought. I have all wish listed on here with the exception of maybe less than 10. Where I bought with my own money. Everything else has all been did I say wish list before? No, I claimed. So go in here,
Hey,
claim the game. You don't need your credit card or anything. But I do also want to mention for the next segment, this is going to be the Black Friday segment. I want to mention it real quick because this segment's the big crazy segment this year because it looks like there's no really good deals. However, there are some for the ones out there who are really gamers. It's funny how you have to say it that way because all the commercial stuff, all the big profile stuff right now is not on sale. A lot of our $70 games that has come out throughout this year is not on sale. It would have had to really perform poorly for it to be on sale. But however, there's so many other games out there. There's just some exceptions. We've been talking about this card game this whole time that is on sale, that is considered a big deal, right? And I at least looked up a whole bunch of different stuff. But before we go through all the games, I actually want my co-host because I asked him to look up some of this stuff. Can you at least tell us for the systems first before you even get the game? You got to have a system or a computer. What systems are on sale? What do we
the
got?
PS5 Slim is on sale directly from PlayStation. It's cost $379.99, like 380, 70 bucks off.
That's the
Um,
PlayStation Direct, right?
yep. So you have to go directly to PlayStation to get it. And you're able to get that. Then, at Target, you can get a Nintendo Switch with Mario Kart. Was it Mario Kart 8 Deluxe?
Yes.
And this bad boy is on sale for the page refresh. Give me a second. Uh, where we go? Hold on.
While you're doing that, I think I should
It's on sale
mention.
for two
Go
twenty
ahead.
five.
225. So
On
that's like
300.
one of the best deals for the Switch right now.
Yes.
Because
And
I don't think I asked you to look, but how much of a sale did they make the light if they made the main one um 220 something.
I'll
I
look. It says
wonder
on
if they.
the page. Uh, but besides that, while I look for that, the Xbox is on sale for 50 bucks off. For the
Series
Series X.
X. Yep.
Yeah, and that'll be Best Buy and Target.
Okay, for anybody out there, I do while you're looking up the other one, I can mention the PlayStation Portable from what I've noticed is actually not on sale at all. That one you're gonna have to pay the real money for. Which is really still the $200. However, what I've found out is I think they have an update for it where it should not you shouldn't need your PS5 going forward. Don't quote me on it. You're gonna have to go out there and
Oh,
watch some
I
videos on that.
so I looked that up. But before I talk about that,
Hmm.
Nintendo Switch Lite, they're giving the Hyrule edition. The one that it's like designed with like the Legend of Zelda crest.
That one looks very good. I like how that one looks.
210.
210.
So 40 bucks off. But it also comes with 12 months of Nintendo Switch Online and the expansion pack membership. So you can play all the old games.
That's a
For
hard sell so close to the other one. Almost. It depends on how on your if you don't care about being on TV at all. That's what
yeah,
it depends on.
it really it depends on how you're gonna play. Uh
Yeah.
oh, but yeah. So I looked up for the PlayStation Portable.
Okay.
Um, I believe what's being suggested is that you're going to be able to play from the PS Plus Premium category. If you have PS Plus Premium, you'll be able to play from their log of games through cloud streaming directly off the PlayStation
Okay.
Portable without having
So there's
that
some
like
technicalities there a little
yeah.
bit. Okay.
However, what's being hoped for is that if that's successful, then they'll start adding like regular games to like
That makes sense.
where
I
you can
think it
purchase.
might be strictly PS Plus too, because the one thing I just thought about is they got to have a server for
Yeah.
each game. So
So they still don't mind the PS Plus. What people want is that they're able to purchase the game through the store and directly just be able to play it.
yeah,
As opposed to it's only what PS Plus Premium offers that you can play.
yeah, we're not there yet, but I think we might be there by next generation. Like maybe the halfway point, we might be there, where you could just instantly play right after you done bought it, like probably within seconds. Um, we might be there. That would be a very interesting time in gaming. Maybe some people might forgive the industry or forget about the physical game if they get it that soon. Who knows? Because it's like at one point you could just wait till midnight, right? For the people that's so anxious to play, and then at like 12:01 you're in the game that fast. That's
That'd be cool.
interesting. That would be an interesting thing to see. It's amazing where we are in gaming. The options that you really have in gaming is just it's so crazy compared to like only maybe 5 or 10 years ago, right? Um, but yeah, so that's the systems. As far as the main systems, I do want to also add on the Steam Deck. Apparently, they have a limited edition white and gray one. I can't really recommend it. I cannot stand white systems that much. Only made an exception, obviously, for the original PS5, and then technically the Rogue Ally, which I'm going to get to right now, actually. But that one I don't think is actually on sale. It's actually a few dollars more. Is actually $679. I think it's normally $650. For it to be a limited edition white version, I can't really recommend it. But honestly, I had to just mention it at least because it is coming out specifically for this time. But yeah, that's there. What I do want to mention, the MVP of Black Friday sales this year is Best Buy. Shout out to Best Buy. The other system, the Rogue Ally, like I wanted to mention, they have all the SKUs for that, but the main SKU is the one that's the right in the middle SKU, which is the white system that is the extreme model, which is normally I think 650. This Black Friday it is 500. 499.99. You can buy that today if you want to. For that price, I think the highest one is still at its main price. I didn't really catch the price on that. The lowest one I think may have dropped to I think it was like 370 or something like that. I still recommend the $500 model. I have no complaints honestly with that model. That's the only one I can really speak on because I've had it now for over a year. But yeah, that's the handheld. That's probably the choice. I don't think the Lenovo Legion Go is on sale. I haven't seen anything for it. Honestly, that one hasn't really had too much notoriety anymore. It's almost starting to disappear completely. But yeah, those are the systems. Black Friday specifically, there is one new game that came out that interestingly enough is on sale, and that was the Quiet Place game. The Quiet Place game, I've kind of forgot, but it debuted at $30. I didn't realize it was so cheap, but during Black Friday right now, you can get it for $19.99. So that one's already down to the price of the card game we've been talking about this whole time. That is at that price at GameStop and Best Buy. Um, Lords of the Fallen, my co-host's favorite game. This is $20 also at GameStop and Best Buy. Cult of the Lamb, $20, GameStop and Best Buy. The Tomb Raider Remaster series that has the Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 from the PlayStation 1. You can get that for $20. That's also at Best Buy and GameStop. A game that I actually bought and it came in early. Shout out to Best Buy. Best Buy is getting you these games too within 48 hours. If you live near a Best Buy or if a Best Buy is within 30 minutes of you and you buy a game, it will be at your house within 48 hours. This has happened more than once already. The last set of games where I think I said either a week or two ago, I said Black Friday came early. Um, a lot of games was coming within like 2 days. And I think that one was actually Walmart, but now Best Buy. The game I bought was called The Last Faith. This is more of the indie, more 2D Souls game. I'm really into those. That was $20. That's $20 at Best Buy, $20 at GameStop. Another game, I really want to keep my sales and stuff that I was reporting under 20 or $20 or lower. But I did pull an audible for this one game I bought, which is called Sea of Stars. I bought this for $24.99.
I love that game.
That came in. I actually coming home from work today, I picked it up. That was in my mailbox today. That was another game that I bought, I think, just around 36 hours ago. Best Buy got it to me very quick. You can get it for that price at Best Buy and GameStop. And then I had a couple of them in here that I wanted to mention that were $30. The main one was the Mortal Kombat 1. That one is $29.99 for anybody who's not really worried about spending the full $30 on something. That's also $30 in both spots. I wrote this down and I know I'm going to butcher the name. Euden Chronicles 100 Heroes. I don't know if I said Euden right. But that's more of the like Square Enix looking games, the RPG games. That one's $30. That's high on my radar. I think I'm going to skip it this year though. I might grab it at the $20 price next year or something because I've grabbed so many games already. Right before we went live, I bought Tiny Tina Wonderland on PlayStation 5. I think it's called the Next Edition. That was $20 on Amazon. I didn't really grab too many sales from Amazon. So you got to check out Amazon if you want to see some more stuff. Best Buy has Skull and Bones. Not really that good of a game for what we've mentioned before, but I did want to mention it because it was kind of popular to somebody. But they're only asking for $15 from this. You can get it for $15 at Best Buy. I think that's still a steal for what you were getting. $15 is fine. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown was a game that I bought from Walmart when it had a flash sale at like $17. Well, now it's going to be $20. You can find it most places for $20, Best Buy included. So I want to mention that here. I think I also need to mention, because we've been talking about this card game a lot. I forgot to mention this whole time that yes, it's $20 everywhere where you can just get it physically, but Steam has it for $15. So if you really, really want to try it, a Game of the Year category game is $15 on Steam, but you can still play it everywhere once you have it on Steam. And so yeah, the games that are not in the sales price that I like, I didn't really mention or look at. I quite literally did not look at, which is the games that are in the $40 range, which just so happen to be all of Nintendo games. A lot of Nintendo games are there, but I did want to mention a couple of them because I still might get one of them, which is the Pikmin game. But Nintendo's sales will go on, their Black Friday stuff will start on the 24th at all these same retailers, but for some reason they're very, very particular about what they want on sale. They're strong holding this, like, no, it's only going to be on sale for quite literally the Black Friday time frame. Like everybody else is doing it up to like 2 weeks early, not Nintendo. So starting the 24th right before it, and then I think it might end at Black Friday quite literally. Tears of the Kingdom will be $49.99. Remember that's the first game that they tried to sell you for 70. That is going to be $49.99. Super Mario Odyssey and Pikmin 1 and 2 will be $29.99. So I have my access to Pikmin 1 and 2, but I don't mind grabbing it here. If it's worth it, it's because that's like $15 each. I think it's probably fine for that. But I am going to check online to see if there were some actual improvements. Because if it looked the same, shout out to the Steam Deck, right? A few other games here I just wanted to mention for Nintendo specifically. If you do really want a Nintendo game, Animal Crossing, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Pikmin 4, those are all the games that's going to be $40. I really want to try Pikmin 1 and 2 before trying to grab 4 or 3, even though it's going to be on sale. $40 sale is not really a sale to me, honestly. But that's Nintendo. It's like you got to take what you can get when it comes to Nintendo. Last but not least, as far as Black Friday sales, I just want to mention Epic Games directly. If you go under Epic Games, they have a lot of little sales going on. It was actually like 15 pages worth of sales, so I didn't really get through all of it. But the stuff that they put at the headliner, I wanted to mention. Fan favorite of the show, Remnant and the Remnant from the Ashes is $14.99, and it's the complete edition. This is the first Remnant game. There's a few games that they had on there that I actually thought was worth mentioning because they all said either complete or deluxe or something of that nature, and I think promoting the sale price of a complete game is what I like to do. If your game is complete and it's on sale, I would definitely mention it. And so Remnant was one of them. Hot Wheels Unleashed Game of the Year Edition. That's the first one. That one is $11.99. Jedi Fallen Order, the deluxe version. That one is $7.49. Control Ultimate Edition. That's $7.99. These are some really good deals for the complete games, right? Gotham Knights Deluxe Edition is $11.99. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition. This is, remember, Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. That one is $4.79. So they got some hot deals at Epic Games. Another fan favorite for me, I almost want to double dip, even though I got it on PC. Blasphemous Deluxe. I actually got the regular one, I think, on Steam. Blasphemous Deluxe here is $8.53. Another 2D hack and slasher. I'm huge on those. I think my co-host, you mentioned this before. Immortal Phoenix Rising is $7.99 brand new on here under Epic.
Yep.
Very good games here. I think those are some of the cheapest sales I was seeing, and then anything else you got to go look on their sales page. They have a page up right now that says it's the Black Friday Cyber Monday thing, and their sales are actually from November 19th, which is already past this, but it's going all the way to December 3rd. And so you can get all these sales right here under Epic Games. Very, very much pennies on the dollars for a lot of these. I mean, if some of them end up being free later on, I mean, you didn't really lose much. You lost what? Like a Happy Meal or something? You didn't lose much. We were talking for complete games, At one point, people was charging $20+ for some of these DLCs, right? So yeah, that's all the Black Friday sales. Have you already bought anything for Black Friday?
No. I bought, like you guys said, Veilguard. But other than that, nope. I have not bought anything for Black Friday. I'm probably gonna pick up Tiny Tina and Immortal, Phoenix Rising, but I think that's gonna be it for me. I'm kind of doing an opposite approach to previous years. Rather than buying a bunch of stuff, I need to start like finishing stuff I have such a backlog. We always talk about that. Like I got the
Hmm.
backlog and everything like that. So right now, I think by the time I would get to some of the games I would purchase, they're gonna be on sale again. So I'm just gonna wait personally, save a little bit of money.
Yeah, I think the Epic Game Sales here is probably about as good as it gets, unless you just really want something physical.
Also true.
But the Nintendo ones is like you can kind of miss me with a lot of those. Like and there's a lot of actual sales that I had to apologize to the people that I didn't even look at the page because it was like anything that's saying is 40 or 39.99 or something. It's like that's not really a sale to me at this
Yeah.
stage. So I didn't even look. I was hoping I keep on saying it that I can get the controllers on sale. It don't seem like that's gonna happen. I kind of want to just skip out on buying my plates too, because it's like I kind of want the whole thing. Like if I'm gonna get the plate, I want to get the controller with it. But the plate and the controller is pushing $120. When I really, it's like, do I really want to buy that? Or do I really want to do that? Like I don't want to do that. It's $120. I could take $120 and get a whole bunch of games here, right? I can just get a whole bunch of stuff, right? And so I'm probably gonna hold out on that. I'm a little disappointed on that, but I did buy the kit for my Joy-Con drift controller. I don't know if I really want to tear into it, but I might be anxious to do it. Um, but I still got one good working controller. If that controller breaks, I will just break and go get one. But it's
Okay.
like if I could hold out for a sale, I would try to go for a sale. But anyways, I think that is mostly what we have as far as real topics. There was one more thing. I don't know if you. We don't really need to spend much time on it. But in the midst of all of this Elden Ring DLC controversy, apparently there's a rumor that PlayStation wants to buy From Software from its parent company, and the parent company is looking to sell. I really think that's more of a fan made rumor again. I think right now, From Software is at their apex. I don't see
Well,
a real reason for them to get bought, but yeah, that was a rumor. You got any thoughts on that?
don't buy a studio until you're making games with the studios you got. I'm
That's an
sick of this.
interesting
I'm
thing.
sick of
Yeah.
this buying another studio, release one game, it didn't do what we want, shut the whole studio down. Like then don't buy the studio. Like at that point.
Right, because I think just before that, we were getting the news that they shut down two studios, right?
Yep.
They shut down two studios, and one of them didn't even really get a chance to get out the gate. So it's like I don't know if we really. I feel like you shouldn't buy a studio the same year you shut one down, because like whatever plans you had with one, you could already do it with the other. Like, is it really that much? Everybody, especially when it comes to this, is everyone not buying a or making a Souls game? So it's like you couldn't have your other studio make a Souls game. It's still like everybody's making it. Like, who didn't make a Souls game at this point? Even the Krusty Krab is a Souls game at this point. It's like everybody made a Souls game. So hopefully that's a dumb rumor if that's the case. It's dumb if that happens. And at the same time, I don't know if they have the money for that. Because coming off of Concord, it's like, do you really got the money to do that from software? From software? Almost. I didn't know we was gonna bury this rumor that hard, but when you really think about it out loud and you say it to yourself out loud, it's like that doesn't make sense. It don't make sense
Yep.
at all. It's like it would make more sense if you just like announced that you just sold like 10 million copies of the PS5 Pro. It's like, all right, maybe we'll believe that, but that thing was not even. It was like on the shelves, right? So it's like I don't know. But yeah, that was just a rumor.
Well, I
Um,
got one thing that I just saw.
go
Just
ahead.
saw. There's an update in Stellar Blade, where if you one of the outfits she wears looks like nightwear, and if you try to look at her backside, she kicks the camera.
I
So
think
now they're messing with the players.
that reminds me of I think there was a point in Death Stranding where if you was messing with him too much, he got up and just punched you.
Mhm.
And it was that type of stuff too. And I think for the people who do that type of thing too, I think some of the characters were like, "Ew, you perv," or "What are
Yep.
you doing?" Or it's kind of weird that they they have
man
to
for the
go
money.
there, but at the same time, sometimes they really do gotta go there because people are
Yeah.
just whack. It's just it's just whack. You know what's really probably worse though is if like a streamer did it. Like anybody who's like you playing the game or something, it's still bad that you kind of doing it, but you like you in your own privacy. But imagine a streamer doing it, or they just like forget that they're streaming or something. Nah, bro.
Yikes.
Nah, bro. But I think that's it for the show. I do want to mention one thing because this was brought to my attention that I think has been out here forever. Have you heard of the game PokeMMO?
No.
You haven't heard of this? Apparently, in the middle of the wrath of Nintendo out here, they have not touched this one game that I think has been out for a while, and it's a Pokemon game where the people, the fans, have made an MMO game where everyone is in it at the same time, and they're just kind of there, and you guys can be cool, or you can battle, you can trade, but the game itself is a fan made, obviously fan remastered game of Fire Red, Emerald, Platinum, and Black all in one. And all of its regions. I'm not as familiar with some of those regions as you might be, but that is in there. They've made it harder, and there's lots of PvP, right? And it has like a whole battling system where they created like this thing where they kind of have like these floating platforms where you battle each other, and then afterwards like everything's behind it, and then it like fades back out once the battle is over, and then you kind of go back to playing the game you've been playing forever. And somebody combined the whole thing, and it's just free. It's free online. There are tutorials for you to install it on your handhelds if you have the Steam Deck or the Rogue Ally or any of the other ones. And I didn't know too much about it. I just know I somehow stumbled across it because I just so happened to like turn on somebody's stream who was just playing it, and I was just looking like, what in the world? What is that? It looks cool. And how come Nintendo didn't take it down yet? And apparently it's been there for a while, and Nintendo has not touched it, and it gets updates and everything, and it has a community. And so I thought it was pretty cool. I just wanted to mention it as another game that people probably can get just for free, a nugget at the very end. Um, and yeah, I would say check it out if you are a long-term Pokemon fan, obviously. Then that's right up your alley. Another thing you could probably get right next to all of your free Epic games. But that is it. That is the show. Happy Black Friday and holiday season eve, as well as winter eve. We're doing a whole lot of changes that everybody's got to get used to. But yeah, any last words before I end this?
Enjoy y'all Thanksgiving. You know,
Yeah, yeah. Enjoy all the cool food that you're gonna get. Technically, I think I'm gonna have two back-to-back Thanksgivings. There's gonna be like the real Thanksgiving and then like a seafood boil night with a family member. But
I sort of have like I think
yeah,
30.
yeah. So everybody just enjoy it. Enjoy it. This time of the year is like it's always supposed to be the most uplifting time. So enjoy it. Buy a bunch of these games. Let me know what you buy. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We will catch you next week. Peace.